Welcome to the bleeding edge of IP communications. This is the VUC. We're located at vuc.me. As usual, our thanks go out to Simwood.com. Simwood can turn any developer into a telco. Our hosted telephony is from onsip.com. Where would we be without zipdx.com for our wideband full-featured audio conferencing system? VUC.me website is on bluehost.com. And our local rate dial-ins are from voxbone.com. Sounds like a .com revolution to me. So here's one more, tadsummit.com. For 2014, it's going to be in Istanbul. You should go check that out. For a 30% discount on registration, use FOVUC. Hey, and as you can see, we are live. This is the VUC. This is number 505. We've been running for 7 years counting. Our guest today is Tom Moor from Sqwiggle. Hey, Tom. Good to hear you.
Hey, how's it going?
Especially if I put my headphones on. Now I can hear you. Tom, you and I were talking before we got going here, and I mentioned I love the name. It's a great name because it immediately suggests a logo, which you guys did. We need to ask what the origin of the name is. Was that like you're, like smoking weed for like 3 nights and going, yeah, man, Sqwiggle? No, where did this come from, Sqwiggle?
Unfortunately, there's no great founding story behind the name. It's a name that my co-founder Matt had purchased many years before, and it seemed to work well. It seemed very brandable.
I think it's a terrific name, personally, and it's very memorable. And as I also told you then, we've tested quite a few of these various presence-based collaboration apps, if I can call it that, and you really need a memorable name. Tom, I also warned you that we would ask how you got into technology, presumably as a young man, not that you're old now, and also how you got into this particular phase of it. So what attracted you to tech?
That's a good question. I mean, I've kind of been programming to some extent for as far back as I can remember, since I was like 8, 9 years old. But I originally, very first time I started looking at HTML and things like this was in a music magazine, because I was really into DJing as a youngster, and there was a music magazine, and it had this like 4-page spread on how to code your own website as just like a random feature in the magazine, and it had all the HTML code in this physical magazine that you copied into the computer. I'm sure, yeah, real old school. That's how I originally got started, and then it kind of snowballed from there, and then I actually never studied computer science at college or university. I studied architecture, worked in the industry for a couple of years, but was always building things on the side, always building websites and games and programs and stuff like this. Funnily enough, the reason that I didn't study computer science, even though I was very interested in it, was because I didn't want to be stuck behind a desk. I had this idea that if you're going to be working on a computer all day, you're going to be stuck in an office behind a desk, and that's the reason I never did it. And it turns out that's exactly what architects do anyway, so they're all stood on CAD programs, sat on CAD programs behind a desk. So,
hopefully that'll change at some point, and things will be different. Now, our team here on the VUC, we have a team, the VUC team, and we opened a Sqwiggle account. By the way, real quick, anyone, before we get into the demo, you can go to Sqwiggle.com. I always say this: if you don't know how to spell Sqwiggle, you maybe have no business opening an account, but it's SQWIGGLE.com. And you can open an account and test with it. At the present time, I think you can maintain a team of 3 for free. That's the way it works for the moment. But if you're a serious team, if you got 4 to 8 people or something like that, you probably want to look into upgrading at some point. So there is that. We've tested it, as I say. James Bodie's here with us. Andy Smith is here with us. The three of us, have tested. We've had people in Moscow on. We've had people from the U.S. We've mixed continents and all that. It works just fine. No major hitches with us. So we're kind of happy with it. We had to beg for an extension, of course, but that's okay. There's more than three of us.
We have people across continents as well. One of our engineers is still in England, so and then we have engineers on the East Coast in Central America, or not Central America, in, Central Time Zone, and I'm on the West Coast as well. So we're always kind of all the way across the globe, as it were.
And that's really what it's for. I mean, that's the whole point, is that if people were all in the same office, you wouldn't need it. Let's move on to a demo. So you've got a screen share, and you can, I hope you've primed everybody who's on your Sqwiggle to say cute things and so on. But
I just typed in that about the demo, so they've had at least 10 seconds warning.
I hope you've got some attractive people on there. It's what Emil from Jitsi always does.
Yes, that's right.
I got my actual team, so it's up to you guys to judge how attractive you think they are.
For better or worse, okay. Well, they can't hear us, so we can critique them as they come on. Just kidding.
Okay, let me know if you guys see that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, seeing that nice and
Cool.
clear.
The version that you guys tried the other day might look slightly different because we're beta testing a couple of things internally, but this is pretty much the most current UI. So this is our actual live production room that we use to communicate all day, every day. So as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of chat streams over here on the left, similar to a lot of other chat products that are out there. One for just general chit chat here, posting GIFs and silly things going on. We have like a technical room, which we push in GitHub, and Travis status is, and anything that we don't want to bother the non-technical people with, we'll talk about in there. Design room, where we talk about product updates, different things like that. And then we also have some support room here, where we're pushing in all of our support tickets that come into our support email address. So it really becomes like a hub of the company's activity, you know.
And if people are paying attention, there was a notification just popped up. I couldn't even read it, but it doesn't matter. It was probably something real that we shouldn't know about.
There you go. No, he knows full well. You can see it here. Michael playing funny. So I guess we can. I'll bring Michael in. So basically, the whole idea of Sqwiggle is that your whole team is much more visible to you than in a typical video conferencing program or in a typical chat program. The whole team is over here on the right-hand side, or at least the ones I have favorited, and everybody's just a click away. So it really reduces the friction to communication when you're spread out geographically. It's supposed to be the equivalent of, if you're in an office, you can turn around to someone and just say, "Hey, come and have a look at this." That's the kind of interactions that happen all day, every day in an office. So, and it's the kind of thing you miss out on if you're distributed, or if you're in different offices or different floors of the same office. Even the walk to the elevator down and then across the floor again it's enough to stop you talking to people, or you end up going backwards and forwards on chat or email for 10, 20 minutes when really a quick video discussion would do the trick. So. We try and make those quick video discussions as seamless as possible. So we have me here in the top left. It's showing my video all the time at the minute, and it's actually taking a snapshot every minute of whatever happens to be on camera and broadcasting it to everybody else. You can see some people's snapshots here are updating, some aren't. It depends on which mode they're in. So right now we have this selector up here. You can choose 1 minute, 5 minutes, or manual. And if you put it in manual mode, then it will just choose. You can just choose what you want it to show instead of live streaming your video. If you're eating having your lunch or something, and you don't particularly want to be caught with your fork in the middle of your mouth, right, biting into a sandwich. Personally, I quite like people seeing that. I think it's funny. I'm not too precious over my image, particularly within our team, but I know it's different for every team. So
I particularly like that idea, actually, because when we first tried it, we were getting the 1 minute, and we were messing with that. But it's actually pretty good to be a little bit in control of that, just in case you need to leave or whatever. You might want to.
Right.
Funny. It's kind of nice to be in control of that, I think.
And you can. So and then the other thing is, if you have it in the manual mode, you don't get, you can't see the live image of somebody, which is great for a bit of privacy, but it's also like, well, how do I know if they're there? So we have also integrated into the system here, and it's hooked low level into the computer when you're using the Mac desktop app. And as you can see with Matt here, he's gone black and white. If I hover over him, it says idle. So he's not touched the computer for 3 minutes. You can see that 3 minutes ago.
Oh, he is idling.
He's idling.
Yes. And then he comes back. So
it brings up a quick question that somebody posed a couple of minutes ago, which is, okay, so I have a Mac. I'm lucky owner of a Mac. I have several, in fact. So I was able to install the app. There is not a Windows app. Could one assume that would be coming at some point?
It's coming, yeah.
And of course, there is definitely. Well, wait a minute. What am I saying? I might be confusing this. What about mobile? Are there apps? I think there are.
There is an iPad app as of this week.
Right.
And the iPad app actually works in conjunction with the desktop app, as well as on its own. So when you log into the iPad app, what happens is it moves this right-hand portion with the videos. It hides that in the desktop app, and it moves that onto the iPad. So it becomes like an extension of your screen.
Well, that's quite neat.
Yeah, so it keeps the chat and everything here. It basically just becomes a chat client on the desktop. You can chat away and use your keyboard, and then people's video conversations come up on the iPad, and you have them full screen there, which is, we think it's pretty cool. I don't know of any other app that works in quite the same way.
Is that publicly available in the App Store right now?
It is as of the beginning of this week. It's sqwiggle.com/iPad, and we've put a nice video demo up there as well.
James,
so I'm just downloading it right now.
There you go.
Install.
The video, Eric did a really nice video. So if you have a look at that landing page at /iPad, it shows off how it works really well. So, but that's the only mobile app we have at the minute, and obviously we're going to work on extending that to iPhone as well. We have a third of our development team is iOS. So.
Yeah, how do you see this? Would this be targeting more? Everybody says mobile. It's all mobile now. I don't agree with that 100%, but that's probably because I don't operate mobile as much as I do desktop. But do you feel that Sqwiggle is going to be all mobile, and it's very important to have mobile, or is it still pretty important to be on desktop? Because mobile will never, well, on the iPad it might, on tablets, but a phone will never have the real estate to do this properly, really, I don't think. You can check in and things, but
Right.
What is your orientation on that?
I feel like it's always dangerous to say something will never be the case in terms of technology. It's definitely a dangerous one.
Yeah, absolutely right. Whenever anybody says that to me, I want to do it even more.
I say, right. Okay, well, probably within my lifetime, no, I better not say that, or my lifetime would be too short. Anyway, right now, it's not easy to envisage doing this on what's the biggest screens are on 5.5 inches. Yeah. It's tough to get the full experience, let me put it that way.
Yeah, but, here's Tim. But when you have upwards of
Jim left disgusted. All right, go ahead, James.
1.5 million pixels on your mobile device, I mean, you've certainly got the real estate to do it.
Well, you got the pixels, but you don't have the surface.
Well, you might have to put your glasses on, if you're like me.
I mean, the pixels on there are certainly as much as my Mac desktop now, my Mac laptop, which is crazy. But I mean, I can certainly see us extending the Sqwiggle iPad experience to the phone. I don't see why you couldn't kind of fit 8, 10 people on here if you wanted to. It might be interesting. I think the more interesting thing is probably to extend the chat experience to the phone, similar to a lot of other people are doing. So at least you can quickly start a video call, but also follow up with the chats on the phone. My personal opinion is that still, and probably for the foreseeable close future at least, most real work is done on a desktop computer.
Yeah.
If you're coding, you're probably not coding on your phone at this point. So if you're writing a novel, you're probably doing it on a desktop-sized screen. So that's kind of why we chose not to go mobile first, which I don't know is definitely an odd decision nowadays for a lot of startups. Most startups seem to be going mobile first, but that was our reasoning behind that. We wanted to be positioned as a business product, a work product, and the desktop is still where the majority of work gets done.
And there's also the challenge that you face when you're developing something, which is how much energy do you have to deal with different platforms? Now, if it's only iOS, I guess you can deal with that. But if you were going to put the emphasis on mobile, you've got to start worrying about all the different screen sizes, as I already said, and also the 2 platforms. We won't get into Windows Phone because the 4 people who are using it probably are not going to be interested in Sqwiggle, but...
Oh, you can't say things like that.
I guess I can, I just did. But I'm kidding, of course. The point is, there's BlackBerry, there's, what else? The one-on-one, I don't know. I guess that's Android. But anyway, point is, you have a much bigger challenge. You wrote a Mac app. That's already to your credit, in my opinion, because that thing works great. So presumably you might have someday a Windows app, or you might have if Surface works, I don't know what Surface 3 maybe runs regular Windows apps. So if you could have a Windows app, then people on those things is people on Surface tablets, Microsoft tablets might be.
We definitely want to have the Windows app because, I mean, Mac just came first for us because we're all Mac people, so it's just made sense. But obviously, know that the majority of the world still runs on Windows, particularly in the business environment. So we're looking forward to supporting that. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem for us. But the famous last words.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know how you're handling the portability across platforms. I mean, are you trying to do everything in one language and then use that language on all the platforms, like in C or C# or something, or how are you handling that?
Right now, well, if you didn't realize this already, I'm going to give the game away here. The desktop app is written in JavaScript.
Okay.
Oh, we've been there, haven't we, Tim?
So is it one of those things that sits in what's it, the Chrome exec or?
Yeah, basically we're running an instance of Chromium to be able to do that. And one of the main reasons to do that in the early days was Chromium was pretty much the only place you could run the WebRTC technology. The Objective-C libraries weren't there. They're only just getting to the point of being usable, which is why we've been able to get our iPad app out the door after nearly a year of working on it. But the implementation within the Chrome code base was a lot further along. So we made the decision to kind of use that as the basis for the app. And I think it's turned out really well, actually. It's enabled us to iterate really quickly as well in the early days, which is important when we're still trying to figure out the interface, figure out exactly how everything should work, how to make this concept socially acceptable to people. We change it very often, so you can certainly do that a lot quicker in JavaScript than in most other languages.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at Android, but there is now you can use there's a Chrome plugin for that you can suck into an Android L, so you can run an Android app that has a Chrome screen in it, and that actually runs WebRTC in Android L. Nothing earlier, but it's just interesting.
Yeah, and you can actually run WebRTC just in the stock Chrome. Well, I'll say stock, but in the Chrome browser on Android, can't you? So I've actually had Sqwiggle running on my Samsung S3.
Right.
The interface isn't optimized for sure, but it does work.
Oh, I should try that later on one of these tablets and see what happens.
Yeah, it should be good on a tablet. The only problem is it doesn't seem to. The reason I haven't been able to use it personally is it doesn't seem to keep the screen on. But that's probably my power settings. Even with the camera running, the screen goes to idle. So
there's as a personal hack for you, rather than kind of as a general solution. There's a setting which says don't. Where you plug it into the power, and then you can say, I think it's a debug setting, which is don't turn the screen off if you've got power. Or that's right, if the USB is plugged in, don't turn the screen off. So then you just power it up and set that setting. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Nexus 7 here as well. I should give that a go. It's been a while since I've run it on here. Last time I tried it though, it was very good, surprisingly good. To be honest.
I actually like having. I mean, I missed the beginning of this conversation, but I have seen Sqwiggle. In fact, I think I've seen you pitch it. But I do like the idea of having it to one side. I actually don't like having. In fact, I'm not very keen on having Hangouts running on my main screen because I kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm jealous of the real estate or something. I don't know, but I actually quite like having it physically off to one side, almost like a real desk phone, you know.
I mean that's where we're coming from with it. We saw definitely my vision personally was to kind of replace the desk phone for companies that use it and just create like a very visual desk phone with the hardware that they already have. You know, most people have an iPad that's lying around, and they're not. If they're on their computer working, then they're not using that iPad at the same time. So why not use that for something? Why not use that screen and put your communications device on it? That was our thinking, and a lot of our companies that are using the product already were already putting Sqwiggle on their second screen and having it take up the entire second screen, or they'd have their laptop with a Thunderbolt display and they just have Sqwiggle on the laptop entirely. And when you see people doing that and using the product that way already, it's like, okay, how can we facilitate this better? I think that's definitely the preferred way to use it.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it certainly makes sense for me. I mean, I'm sitting here where you can't see it, but I've got a laptop off to one side, and actually a very old rotary phone off to the other side. But you know, that's
you, Tim, isn't it?
Well, sadly, it's not plugged in at the moment. I unplugged it it was somebody was bringing me up whilst I was on.
Who would do that, Tim?
Somebody who was trying to sell me double glazing or something. I don't know. Anyway.
If you add an iPad with Sqwiggle to that, then you'll have all the generations. You know?
Yes, excellent. Yes, I should do that. Just about room. Actually, there's just about room for an Android tablet out here, you know, in the right stand. That would be good. You should do that. Yeah.
I just realized I didn't demo Sqwiggle fully because I never actually did a video connection. So shall I jump in and do that?
Well, I'd like to join you, Tom, in a live, unscripted,
dangerous demo.
Yeah, because we like to do things which are unrehearsed. Now that I've downloaded the iPad app,
I'd have to invite you to our organization.
Oh.
Bring you in here.
We could invite you to ours.
Yeah, but we'd probably run out of things, wouldn't we?
No, we're okay. But I think
that's one tiny little beef I have, Tom, is that because you constrain the number of users that you can play with, it's difficult to give it a really good throbbing.
The 3 user limit, you mean?
Yeah.
On the free plan, we'll be removing that very soon.
Oh, good.
Very soon. Let me. I mean, we can try an unscripted one, but let me. This is pretty unscripted still. Let me. I'll click into Michael and see what he has to say. You guys can see my screen again, right?
Yep.
Cool.
I think the Google guys have actually updated the screen capture on that because that is extremely clear. I don't remember it being quite as good as that.
I have a pretty good connection here too. So when you hover over people, you can see what you're going to get. So Johnny's in busy, right now, which means if I click on him, it will ping him, which tells him I want to have a conversation. Michael is green, which means he's good to talk, and we have a video icon on, which means when I click him, I'm going to get essentially instant video. It may be a bit slower to connect because I'm running Hangouts and screen sharing at the same time, but we'll see how it goes. So if I click on Michael now, you see it shows this connecting animation, brings in our toolbar here, and I feel like bandwidth might be an issue, but we'll give it a go. It normally connects in about a second. Live demos for the win.
World.
Exactly.
Typical. We got no video, Michael. I think it took too long to connect. Let's try that again. I just got them up streaming this high definition streamcast, you know. There we go.
Hey, world.
See, it works that time. You guys got that?
Yep.
Yeah, and you can transition to a bigger picture of that.
Yeah, so if I can do that, and then we've got him nice and big.
Yeah, one little comment is that it was not immediately apparent how to do that when we started doing it today.
Oh yeah? You can, so there's...
Are you going to say you can read the help docs and things like that?
Yeah.
No one does that.
Michael, can you hear these guys?
Yeah, I can hear them.
Oh, really? That's funny.
They're wonderful British accents.
Totally by accident.
Yeah, live from London.
And other places.
And yeah, Tim's up in the frozen north somewhere.
Very nice day in the frozen north today. There you go.
I've got a bit of like cross Sqwiggle Hangouts situation going on here.
Well, I'm looking out the window here at the Bank of England. Would you believe that?
Michael, I'm going to drop you off. Thanks.
Oh, poor old Michael. Look.
We've got goodbye, Michael. We have some questions in IRC. James, I just got the wasabi, the loaded wasabi, by the way. So
Oh, the comedy
I can't
wasabi.
talk anymore. The first question was regarding the API.
Yeah.
Whitebook says, saw they have an API, but you can't use video from the API. Is that right? Why don't you just go ahead and describe a little bit about the API, whatever you'd like to say about it.
Can't use video from the API. Well, you can control the video from the API, but you can't kind of embed video elsewhere, if that makes sense. We're not trying to be like TalkBox or one of these kind of solutions where you can embed us into other apps at the moment. We're trying to make our own apps the best experience that we can do. And then we may expand into those things later. But so right now you can pretty much control the video, which means you could start a conversation and you can stop a conversation, and you can kind of list conversations as well. Conversation being what we call. There you go.
I'm ready to go. I'm logged in. So as soon as you're ready to invite me. Sorry, you are in the middle of answering somebody's penetrating question. I was being very rude.
Let me. I can probably transfer myself to your organization in our admin here, so I'll pop in there in a second.
Well, James, if you can jump on that. There's a couple other questions here in the meantime. Andy asked about the bandwidth use and if it's adaptive. That's maybe a hard question to answer, but...
yeah, I mean, it is adaptive, and that's, to be honest, that's baked into WebRTC.
Yeah, you're using the Chromium mechanism for doing that. So
right, the Chromium mechanism it's adaptive from the get-go. It's been there for quite a while now. We're going to add some internal bandwidth controls as well. Certainly something, particularly with targeting the remote working audience, we're getting more and more that people on rural connections, on satellite connections, things like this, and they just want to be able to really dial down the bandwidth for those scenarios. So we're going to add in some bandwidth controls internally too. Just do you know what the organization name is that on the if you look at the top of the iPad?
Oh,
James?
IP Communications and VoIP.com. So it's IP communications and VoIP communications, I guess.
Or community.
It's com something.
Yeah, I think it got cut off probably. Probably didn't fit into the title there. Okay, once we
Commune.
I'll be in there in just a second. I'm multitasking here, guys.
Yeah, as am I, because I'm going to try to log in myself as well on a different box.
Okay, so what happens when you've got the Mac and the iPad both logged in on the same account? Or something like that.
Nothing good, I'll bet.
So you have the Mac and the iPad logged in on the same account?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the video moves to the iPad and the Mac just...
It suddenly sprang into life.
Are you seeing me?
No, I can see Andy Smith.
Let's connect to you guys.
Tom, I have your email. I mean, I could also just quickly invite you if I can find it.
There's Randy. Oh.
Yeah, I jumped in.
So just
he's here.
Sharing. There we go. That's what I've got.
Put Tom in your connections. This can all be cleaned up later, obviously.
Yeah, I just added everybody.
Oh, okay.
So you should have me.
The rest of us can't see this.
Well, it'll come. We'll have it.
Well, I'll be patient.
You're gonna have to have James to hold up the.
If I hold it up, you can see what I'm seeing on my iPad. So there we are. So I've got 3 panes.
So let me wait a sec. If I jump back here, it should see me appear there.
We could do something epically recursive by holding that up in front of the right camera.
You already have a login to this, Tim.
And needless to say...
Do I?
Yes. If you start Sqwiggle up, I think you'll find it'll automatically push you that way.
It could be.
Really?
Yeah, we put you in, didn't we, Tim?
Yeah, you're in.
Who do I need to be? I mean,
he needs to give himself a password.
Well, yourself. But you've got multiple identities, haven't you?
Yes, that was my worry. Give me a second.
So you'll notice that the iPad, and if you sign up now, it's black and white for everybody. So the color thing is something we're testing internally that hasn't been released yet. But
and Randy's gone.
Only because I'm going to try it here, but if I may kick the Hangout, we'll see what happens. WebRTC plus WebRTC plus WebRTC on different apps doesn't always work. Let's see.
Oh, right, with Hangouts, you mean? Yeah, it seemed to just about work. Apart from that one failed connection.
Well, I just managed to disconnect you.
Well, I'm waiting for my computer to... Ooh, wow. Things are getting slow here.
Meanwhile, we're now definitely seeing James from his iPad.
We are?
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, on the... you're talking about on the Sqwiggle.
Yes, on Sqwiggle.
And rather interesting.
His shoulder.
Do you want me to share the Sqwiggle screen on mine? Then you can flip it up if you wish.
I'm trying to get to that right now. So hopefully, here we go.
Okay, share.
Here we go.
Rather interestingly, the IP connection I'm using on my iPad is from the restaurant next door. Don't tell them.
You're trying to break it, aren't you? You're trying to break the live demo.
No. I mean, believe me, Tom, if I wanted to break it...
Here you go. Oh, there we go.
There we go. That's...
So, which of my multiple identities might you have signed me up for Sqwiggle under?
Who knows?
Oh, look, it's Michael.
Wes Hawk.
Oh, really? So...
I can probably find out for you if you like, Tim.
I'll find out now. Let's see. Or maybe this doesn't do it. No, it doesn't do it. Tim is offline. Oh, you want to know how to get in?
Yes.
I can't help you with that.
I think there's a message here, Tom, which is the UI possibly could be improved a little bit.
So, just help me out here. If I'm at the main website screen and it says sign up or log in, which am I doing?
No, go to forgot my password, I think, and try Wes Hawk. I think if it was me that invited you, that's what it would have been.
Let me.
We,
I mean, if we don't know if you have an account or not, it's not much we can do about that
It
one.
says not found, so I don't.
well, how come he exists on our screens then?
Oh, he was invited and never showed up.
Oh, well, you'll have an email then, Tim.
Tim
Oh,
Panson,
really?
it's at your Gmail that you're signed up with.
Okay. That I can do.
I'll look for you.
Yeah.
Everybody on the VOC knows what Tim's email.
Well, I guess the other point is that when you invite somebody, they get an email and they click on it, and then they're asked just to give a password and maybe a name, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, just password and name and they're in.
I just got an end conversation. You can see the big red.
Oh, so did I. I just tapped on you. I see black and white little squares for everybody.
Well, don't tap on anybody because you'll start a conference.
Oh, I'm on the cusp of plugging my iPad into this computer, which will give me a hardware ability to share Sqwiggle in real time momentarily.
Seems like it's connecting.
Exactly. This is exactly what we're trying to avoid: is me eating.
There we go.
So this business, Tom, tell me a little bit more about the interaction between the iPad and the Mac. What am I expecting to happen there?
There's a YouTube app, right? Can I play a YouTube video in here?
There's no good way to do that. If I would have known in advance, I could.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I may be able to do that momentarily.
Yeah, you might.
Because I mean, let me put a link in the chat to the YouTube video if any of you can do it, because it is by far and away the best, better demo than I could.
If anybody can do it, Michael can.
Does it have music in it though? Because it might cause problems unless.
They might have a little bit of music.
We'll risk it. You know, YouTube has an automatic rights. What do they call it?
Filter, stomper.
I can't remember the name of it, but it looks through and.
If it recognizes it, it leaps on it and does nasty things.
Right. Then,
Oh well, it's we've paid for the music, so there shouldn't be an issue.
Actually, it's not a question of you paying. It's a question of them knowing that you paid.
yeah. But if it's not long, I mean, it should be okay. Famous last words.
If it's easy to show it, it's worth a try. It's only a minute long.
Sure.
Hang on a sec. Almost done here.
Yep, Michael is Mr. Interoperability.
We are sending match canvas output. If this little computer can get it done.
I love the way you have a halo around your... Oh, crikey. Tim has just appeared on the iPad. Or has he? We have a black screen that says it's Tim.
That's interesting. That is puzzling.
A nice little touch. This is good. It's picking up the local time zone for where the location that the video stream is coming from. That's a nice touch. Like that.
It matters when you're pretty distributed. It's nice to have that context.
Yes.
Yes. So the app doesn't fit on my Nexus 7 screen, unfortunately.
Is that what you're using?
Yes. Well, you know, has to be done.
I did warn you that we hadn't tested it on there. Well,
but you mentioned it, so I thought, well.
Yeah.
Are you getting the onboarding? Is that what's happening and it doesn't fit on? You've not used it before. You'll have a onboarding showing up, telling you how to use it.
Well, that didn't seem to be the problem. Am I sending camera now or not?
No, you've just got a black box.
Just black.
That's odd, because I can see myself. It's getting the camera, it's just not sending it.
And this happened to us earlier today too, when there were four of us. Three of us, James, Andy, and myself. Occasionally, the video, I wouldn't see it, but somebody else was seeing it, kind of thing.
Try tapping your own video, Tim.
Yes, hang on.
There you go. I see a conversation going on.
Oh,
This is actually pretty funny. I don't know what this will look like in the recording, but I'm transmitting. I'm inside my own screen capture. Actually, it looks remarkably good on this end. I don't know.
I can see you and James connected.
And James, yeah. I mean, it actually looks good, and the frame rate's actually not bad.
So
Is that
to the others that aren't in the conversation here, Tom, my background for the two that are in the conversation has gone blue.
Exactly, yes.
Right, okay, so it colours those that are talking.
Exactly. So you can see if people are talking to each other and get a handle. There's some days when our room is lit up like a Christmas tree because everybody's talking to somebody else.
Okay, does it use different colours for different conversations so that you can see?
It does, yeah. Yeah, I should have demoed that actually. I apologize. If Andy, if I try and start a conversation with you here.
Okay.
Where am I? I'm in here somewhere. Then those guys will see.
we can see Tim. Oh,
Okay.
You guys should see on the screencast that we've gone a color there.
you've gone red, Tim.
Have I? That's very confusing.
I thought Tim as black and white.
So, I'm getting a big echo now.
Sorry, I muted the other one now.
Okay, cool. So the red means that we're talking to each other, so that's kind of like how we're connected. Those guys are in a conversation with each other, and the black and white people are just presents. We are in the midst of kind of figuring out this interface to make it a tad clearer. I mean, normally if you're in a call, Randy, if you were to click on James, then that would just go full screen, and then it would be a hell of a lot less confusing. Like if you're in a call with somebody, then you generally don't show the rest of the presence. And I can see James tried to join this. He probably won't be able to if he's on the iPad.
Absolutely right. It said no. I don't like being limited.
I invited, just to everybody knows, I invited Tom in. I clicked on him, and he's with us. And Andy's in color, but he's not. There he is. Yeah. There he is. Okay.
Whoa. You're not going to be able to get James because the iPad doesn't support multi-party yet.
Ah, okay.
But what if I do it on the Mac?
You do it on Mac, it should work fine.
So, are you still using the same technology for pushing the stills around, or have you replaced that with the WebRTC data channel?
We changed it recently, but not to data channels. If you're reading like a previous interview or something, maybe we're now we changed it to upload. So we upload the snapshots to a server, and then we push a WebSocket message with the new URL.
Okay.
And then each client downloads the image. I would like to use data channels. I do think that'll be a nice way to do it. The one advantage is it means you can actually access the snapshots through the API. So you can go to like /user ID and get their last image, which is kind of nice.
Right.
There's uses for that. A bit more difficult if you use data channels and kind of have it ephemeral. The other thing with data channels is it doesn't really scale up so well with if we had 20 people in this room, then you'd have to shuttle your image to all of those people.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's true.
Just to show everybody, here's where we're at. We've got 6 people in here. None of them are speaking right now, so that's what that would look like. And I haven't typed anything. Somebody clicked on me, and it's James. Big surprise. Here I was to demonstrate what it looks like when no one is connected. All right. Anyway, so you could see clearly. Is my no? I guess my cursor is not set up to be seen. But anyway, you can see bills of everybody, and then you see
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I think that's maybe James playing with. Let me unfreeze that.
It's Tim.
Let's,
Just to warn you, like the iPad is an MVP. It only does one-on-one, so if you try and bring it into a multi-party conversation, you're going to have issues. And that's actually a CPU limitation of the iPad.
Do you have a sense of do you have a sense of where that CPU is going?
Yeah, I mean it's the encoding and the encryption of the upstream, and it's just to do with the way that we're doing multi-party in the minute, because multi-party is all peer-to-peer. You have to encode it and encrypt it for every other party, which is fine on the desktop computer. Desktop computer can handle that, but none of the iPads can handle encrypting and encoding 2 video streams up and like 2 down at the same time.
Oh, maybe you should talk to our friends at Jitsi with their Jitsi video bridge.
Vitsi Gidio.
Vitsi Gidio bridge. It's Friday and there's no beer in front of me.
We're pretty far along with moving that infrastructure to something more sustainable. Like we're moving to central video servers for the multi-party stuff.
Right.
We've been testing it internally, and it's actually really solid. So looking forward to getting that live in the next month or so.
Cool.
And then we'll be able to bring it to the iPad, and then it'll be seamless. We won't have that break between the iPad and the desktop.
Okay, here's a last look at this before I quit. But you see the blue, you see the monochrome, you see that I'm on manual, and I don't know what anybody else is on. But I'm gonna kill this, so we will go back to live. And you see, Tom, that there may be 10 minutes of demo, but we eventually fill out the hour somehow.
We always do.
We always do.
Yeah, I mean, when you said an hour, I worried you'd have me talking for an hour, and that would be terribly boring. But
Well, I managed to get...
Oh, you got the video?
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a good time to play that if you can. But will there be sound? Should be, I guess.
Well, if
I
there
don't
isn't,
know.
Tom can talk us through it.
Well, I think there's probably a soundtrack that he would prefer.
this isn't the YouTube video. This is the actual iPad.
I've got the actual iPad.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the link for the YouTube video. I don't know where my echo is.
Hangout chat.
Oh, here it is.
That's kind of good. You can see the iPad interface clearly there. It's very simple. We try and keep things. Basically, the whole idea is to have things very complicated but keep the interface incredibly simple. You know.
Oh. So we're looking at your iPad now, are we?
Yeah, some echoes kill me. You're looking at the output of my iPad routed into a second position on the Hangout. Because it turns out that the Hangout in Chrome 64 doesn't want to do it, so I had to open up a 32-bit version of a Canary that I had to pull it in.
James, are you still on the iPad there on Sqwiggle?
I closed it down, but I just opened it up again. So I'm back up again now.
I do believe that if change audio, I think if there's audio happening in that session, I think it'll come into the Hangout.
Let's see, looks like it's.
I got it muted at the moment, but if I unmute it.
There we are. I'm live.
Okay.
So that's iPad to iPad.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, try again. It should come in now.
Hello.
Hello. Testing 1 2 3
Hello.
3 2 1.
So I'm curious, Tom. Do you have a lot of users who are spread out over multiple time zones? Does it work well in that environment? Because that was one of the few things I missed about the demise of Google Wave, is that it understood time zones and did kind of pretty much the right things with them.
Right. We do have a lot of users that are spread out across time zones. Yeah. I mean, we actually have a live map in our admin of calls happening, and we often that most of them seem to be, you know, India to East Coast America, Japan to China, like so forth, like going across the globe. We do have that a lot. I mean, obviously, this is mainly a synchronous product. Kind of requires you both to be online at the same time to use it. Unlike Google Wave, which was probably a little bit more asynchronous as well as synchronous. You can't really have a video chat if you're asleep. So, so in that respect, we do what we can with time zones, like showing you your local time and trying to help there. But as long as you're online at the same time, it should work really well.
And other kind of features for catching up with what happened overnight, or are you sort of, I don't know, crises, or I mean, I guess the chat is the thing that you catch up in the morning. Right.
Yeah, we did actually in a previous version of the app, and we are going to bring this back. We had an activity stream, which kind of showed you the conversations that had been happening as well. So you could see, like, James spoke to Tim for an hour on a video call and have that kind of history of what happened in the time you'd been offline. We are going to bring that back. I think that's quite useful.
That was only metadata, not the conversation. Never mind.
Yes, that's right.
What haven't we said? Because actually we managed to pretty much fill up the hour. I mean, we have as much time as we need, but what are we missing here? We did say that you can go to Sqwiggle.com and join and open up an account with. You have 14 days, I think, to actually be like 8 people if you have a real team of 8 people.
Yeah, and to be clear, like within that 14 days, we are going to change our pricing. So if you sign up, it's going to be pretty much free without the 3-person limit, and we're changing our pricing structure somewhat, so you don't have to worry about the trial.
Yeah, and I would definitely recommend doing that because it's a great thing to check it out, and you can try it. And we actually did it. I think we had a maximum of 4 or 5 people anyway. I don't actually have a big development team working for me, but some people do, and if you do, try it, see if it works, see if it does something for you. Certainly,
I think the one thing we probably haven't mentioned like specifically too much is kind of but it's kind of being clear in us playing around with it is, I mean, it's kind of fun. Like we find it's a culture builder, and a lot of the teams that are very into it really build their internal culture with it. They're taking silly photos and doing poses and chatting, like having spontaneous conversations like you would in a water cooler in an office, putting their pets up on the screen and all comparing their dogs' mouths. I don't know. There's like having like silly hat day.
James is like that.
Yeah, have you noticed they've disabled the silly hat function?
He's very big on silly hats and mustaches. So
we have this only on Sqwiggle Tumblr. I don't know if you've come across it in your research.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll put it in the. Let me make an actual link. There you go. So it's only on sqwiggle.tumblr.com, and it's basically where customers send in screenshots from their team Sqwiggle rooms of the stuff they're doing. So I think that's one of the most powerful draws of the product, I think, for us, as well as just making communication more seamless, just making it also more fun and making work a more interesting place to be. No.
There you go. This thing will not let me in without logging in, which is irritating. This is not your fault. It's just Tumblr really wants you to log in, so forget that.
There we go.
Maybe incognito it.
Yeah, I should have gone. You're right. I should have gone as the.
I bet it's because you've logged in before.
Probably, yeah. And I have many logins and can never remember any of the passwords. So.
I could actually. To be honest, I didn't even think of that. I could probably just share that here.
Let's see. I'll race you to see if I get this. Oh, there we go. Oh, there's copy link address.
I like that Ole Johansson is busy doing silly hat day in real life. His Facebook feed has every Friday has a different hat, which encourages me no end.
Oh, there you go.
Here-
You've got it before me.
Never miss a post. These are great. Yeah, I agree. This is an interesting way to build culture. Totally. Plus, you can.
There we are.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, I guess we better move over to the culture builder. There he is, culture builder. School.
So I can see just things that people are
Brady
doing.
Bunch. All right, we better not go any further.
Incognito.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Oops.
That's probably.
Okay. Okay, anything else? See, we're up to 56. We did it. We actually filled an hour. Any questions in IRC? Start typing quickly. Type in your questions in IRC. Unfortunately, we cannot use ZipDX the way we usually do, because we don't have a two-way connection. So if is Carl on?
I should have been in IRC. I didn't click on the.
Oh, it's okay. We didn't do a lot with it, but there's a couple of questions, and if you're not, I read them. Is Carl on ZipDX? Could somebody look real quick?
Carl's not in ZipDX.
Well, he's the only one that would generally be saying anything. So we do have a bunch of people listening on ZipDX, and don't do that.
Oh.
Don't do that. Okay. All right. Well, then that's it. So, Tom Moore, you are not Tom DeMoor, who is a previous guest that we had, and he's a
You had a
developer.
Tom Moor.
Yes.
It's like a fancier version of my name.
Noblesse oblige. You know what I mean? Thanks, man. It's been great, and it's been great testing Sqwiggle. The siren goes off.
Yeah, just in time.
That's for the ghost. You have a very good product, and we were pleased to test it. Thank you.
Awesome.
And,
Thanks. Thank you very much for having me.
We're happy to have you. And Sqwiggle.com, and keep in touch. Let us know. We'll follow and see what's going on in the future.
Great. We'll let you know as we add some of these new features, and yeah, keep you in the know.
Okay, we'll be following you. We're going to turn the broadcast off. We're going to go to the mature audiences only, or the immature audiences only, depending on your viewpoint. So that will be it for the Hangout. I'm clicking on stop, so you can start swearing in 10.